Ray has an insider's perspective on these questions. He once worked as a professional palm reader. On a recent visit to Florida, he allowed me to observe while he gave readings to 2 volunteers.
Now, I want to look at a few other things before we go very far. Look at your thumb, which is most important.
Ray started reading palms to help put himself through college.
There's a little narrowing of the second joint here. That's tact. That suggests tactfulness.
At the time, he was convinced there was nothing to it.
This is the spiritual mental. I had no belief that it would work. But to be convincing, I did read the books and I did study the lines the way and told it as it's supposed to be told. And to my surprise, it worked. And then I became a very rabid believer in palm reading. There's a break in your lifeline. This is your lifeline right here. So you've had some physical problems. You still may have some problems here, some medical problems of some sort.
He was right about that I had some health problems. Is there anything there about my mother?
About your mother. The one thing, the thing that's clear is that right from the beginning, you didn't want to be dominated by her. You wanted to make up your own mind about what your life is going to be like and so on.
I have been very headstrong when it comes to my mother. She has kind of tried to dominate me sometimes, and I've rebelled against it.
At the same time, you wanted to be on your own terms and stuff like that.
He was pretty right on the money with a lot of things. Maybe he's got some part to himself that others are not in touch with, and he knows these things.
Concerned about the relationship between your mother and yourself.
As a palm reader, Ray was quite successful.
I was saying...
Then a college friend bet him that he would do just as well if he told his subjects the opposite of what he read in their palms. He decided to give it a try.
And I did this on my first client, and she didn't say a word. She had no reaction at all, which was very spooky to me because I'm used to feedback. I thought it was because I bombed, but it turned out because she was so stunned I was so accurate. And this was really a shock to me because I had done everything wrong. So I did it the next client wrong. And then I realized it doesn't make any difference what you tell them. It's more what you convince them, how good you are, and what you get them to believe.
As a professional psychologist, Ray is very much aware of the role that careful observation can play in a reading.
You're living in a strange world. It'd be better if you were living maybe 50, 40 years ago in some ways.
I've always said that. I should have been born a long time ago.
This present world presents problems for you, and you're not too happy with it. You'd be much. And from the way she was dressed and so on, I could say that she'd rather be living in an earlier time than today. In fact, she was dressed for an earlier time anyway. There's a change. There's been, there for a while looked like you had 2 jobs or 2 careers, I'm not sure. And very recently you have switched. In fact, there's been a major career change.
I've been in the same career for 6 years. Next year I'm thinking about changing careers, but I haven't done it yet, so he could just be a little off in his timing.
If you set people up right, you can tell them most anything. If they really got a creative and intelligent mind, they can make sense out of it no matter how crazy it seems to be. They can find a way of reinterpreting it so that it really fits them like a glove. This person wants me to succeed. She'll work out some accommodation.
Now, you certainly don't need someone to deliberately fool you to have what seems to be a psychic experience. Your mind can create one all by itself. Let's say you don't like to fly and you're worried about a trip you're going to take, then suddenly during the flight, the plane suddenly, whoa, drops a few thousand feet because of a downdraft. You might very well choose to think that you had some kind of psychic intuition about this. But what you forget is that you've had that same queasy feeling every time you've gotten on an airplane. And if it doesn't fulfill itself, you forget about it. You see, the brain is constantly searching for relationships. It's trying to work out cause and effect so we can know what to expect in our lives. That's natural. The brain is very good at this, but it does make mistakes. And one way to explain these mistakes is by some kind of psychic explanation.